I try not to take it personally, but I try to use any perceived insults to my advantage, because if it makes for a better story if I'm able to say they all turned me down, but I did it anyway.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Good. Nice to meet you as well.
Let me tell you something. I saw the movie and I love it.
Thank
And
you very much.
it's not an easy thing to, do a movie from a video game nowadays and be something nice. And
Oh.
also in the indie environment. So congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you very much.
I want to ask you something more related to how are you feeling right now? Because before talking about Ireland, you are now talking with people from other countries, such as me and other journalists. And it must be a little bit crazy to see that the movie that you made is not only releasing locally, but also worldwide and in cinemas, which is something kind of weird because people is not going so much to the cinemas nowadays, to the theaters.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling with that?
I feel amazing, honestly. It's been quite an honor. There's so many people that have made fan art of it from all over the world and talked about it and been excited to see it. And kind of, I didn't expect it to go past the United States. I didn't expect it to go even that far in the U.S. I thought maybe 200 to 300 theaters at most. So the volume with which it has reached people is almost scary, but still very cool.
I imagine. Also wanted to ask you, how are you feeling right now with not only the reception, but people telling you like, if you want to become or not this kind of guy that makes video game movies, which is kind of weird, you know?
Yeah. I joke about this a lot. There's actually plenty of people that do that, and I always try to squash these things quickly, not to insult my fans or anything, but it's like people will get rabid if you don't address certain things, and so with this. What I tried to make it into is like a funny bit where I can get excessively grumpy about it. But in reality, what it does is it almost creates this like fervor and expectation that these are the things that I'll do. And when in reality, what I don't want to do is get pigeonholed or boxed into a certain thing of like the guy who only makes video game adaptations. And not that video game adaptations are a bad thing, but as an artist and someone who wants to build a career in making these kind of things and telling stories, I want to be able to make a diverse number of projects, some type of things that will exist, in the drama world or the comedy world. And most of everything I've done up until this point has been original. Like I've written original stories. So I want people to understand that it's not just about that. It's not an ego thing. It's not that I think I'm above doing game videos. It's that it's very easy to fall into that trap. So I need to squash it quickly and I need to put it out there. And then that way, if I do another video game movie, it won't be down that path. At least it'll kind of steer out of it a little bit.
Yeah, you don't want to be like only the YouTuber and then only the guy that makes video game movies and only the YouTuber that makes video game movies. It's like a really weird combination otherwise. I know that you work with David to do the movie and also with the script because he didn't put much detail into some things because he didn't need to while he thought about the game. So there were many things that he wanted to explore that he had no idea how or where. So how much of that creative freedom did you have, and what things did you want to explore in the movie that, of course, the video game doesn't have?
So he gave me the entire freedom, but I wanted him to be involved in most of the parts. But you're right, he didn't come up with the full story because he didn't have a reason to. It was partially because, it's nice to only exist in the setting, but also the limitations of being in the sub means you can't really know everything about the universe that you're in. So when I was writing, I knew that it had rules, and I knew that it had this bookend of like a start and a finish that I wanted to be the same as the game. But I had room to explore a lot of these things. The people that are part of this environment is something the game doesn't explore. Who these people are, how they're feeling, what these factions that he did establish, the COI and Eden. And so who are these people? Where are they at this point in the story? Are they fatalistic? Are they deterministic in terms of their morals or their compasses? choices are even a point to having any kind of stand and belief in when things are so clearly over. But are they over, and that conflict? So it was really the people and where they come from and what they want and their needs that I wanted to explore a lot more of, in addition to some more, cosmic horror elements of it.
Yeah, I understand. It's nice to also, you already had the horror elements, you were missing like the personal aspects of the movie and who the main character was and what was going on. So I want to ask you about a little bit about that, because on movies, when you translate a video game into a movie, you lose the interactive part and you start to see things differently. Also, movies sometimes give you more information than a video game gives you because you are the main character. So here you had to play a little bit between that, being giving this feeling of a movie, but also the feeling of the video game, that when you don't know so much about what's going on. How did you play with that with the main character?
So when you have a video game, like you said, you make the choices. The audience is the player. In a movie, that's disconnected, but it doesn't have to be completely separate in my mind. And that comes with making the main character not an idiot, right? So it making logical decisions is very important to giving that connection, in my opinion. If the character is doing something out of anger or excessive emotion, that's one thing. That is a character choice. To finish the answer, so long as there is that connection with the character making choices that the audience wouldn't scoff at or laugh at, then I think that there can be that the distance cannot be as distant as it would be from normal video game adaptations. And also being a little bit of a blank slate at the beginning helps a little bit for people to start to get to know this character and become personable with them. And it helps even if they're a terrible person or a terrible character in terms of their morals, it helps if, people like them. So trying to do all those things at once is difficult, and especially if I'm both writing it and acting in it, it's a lot of things to juggle all at once, but that the story progressed in a way that I think opened up to help that connection. It was something I thought a lot about.
To wrap up, I know being a YouTuber maybe can be something hard for Hollywood, something that is hard to accept, to do movies nowadays as a YouTuber. So how did you felt when Hollywood didn't want to give you anything, but also made you have the opportunity to do something indie and on your own freedom and on your own hands?
In one way, I can understand where these studios are coming from. Who am I? When in their history, a random person might come up being like, I got this thing, I got a sure thing, I got an audience, so I can kind of understand that. But YouTubers have been around long enough for, I think, them to understand that there is an audience behind it. It just feels inconsistent to them, probably because they're YouTubers of varying quality. There's no unifying nature to them. YouTubers are always different. So they have hits, they have misses. People have done it in the past, people haven't. So I try not to take it personally, but I try to use any perceived insults to my advantage, because if it makes for a better story if I'm able to say, they all turned me down, but I did it anyway. So, it's not all about strategy, but there is something nice to prove them wrong. It just feels good in general.
I love all you have done, and I love the movies. So congratulations and keep doing an amazing work.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.